Morning, and we're back with another video. I'm gonna finish where I was yesterday with the Turkish boyfriend, and oh, his name was Sinan. And I forgot to say to you, beautiful man, beautiful man. Worked so hard, put a lot of effort into everything that he did. He worked in a kebab shop, even though he was an agriculturist in Turkey, and yeah, he was just an amazing man. We had such beautiful evenings together. I remember it was the summer of 2007. I was 17. It was a year Umbrella was released, and that summer in England it rained all summer, and that song was just so significant to me. Same with Summer Love by Justin Timberlake. Oh, it's just such beautiful memories. Perfect relationship. On the surface, the language barrier I kind of like because I didn't feel the pressures, and now that I'm 32 years old and only just been diagnosed with autism, I get it. I get it now. I get that's probably why I liked it. I didn't feel the pressures of a normal, conventional, say, British relationship where all my issues have really been with. Let's get there, you know. So the next day I was meant to go to HTP, and I got in so much trouble for it. But wow, looking back, a lot worse situations than that. Anyway, we had 5 months amazing. We would spend most evenings together, and he lived with this English couple in a council estate, sort of. And they had loads of cats and that, and he was picking them up by their cuffs and stuff. It was really weird when we were kissing, and they were everywhere. She was a cat lady. They were really nice to me. They didn't really do much, but yeah, so that was a good positive relationship, but this is where the issues stem from. He got deported, he was on the wrong kind of visa, and I was devastated. I remember going up to a nearby place called Carisbrooke Castle where I live on the Isle of Wight, and cutting a bit of glass and hurting myself for the first time. Yeah, so that was quite a big thing. I remember being at college and just being like sort of numb and devastated, and with my friend Louise just waiting and waiting, and I waited, and I was so loyal, and I was so loyal back then and cared. I had such a good heart. I still do. I still do have a good heart, but so pure when you're younger. That's why. Oh, I don't know. I just saw something on TikTok that really disturbed me, but yeah, that pure heart you have and just adoration of love is just going to be amazing, romantic, and you see it through rose-tinted spectacles. Anyway, so the months go on, and yeah, that was in November he got deported, and in February I go see him. But who decides to come along with me? In a one-bedroom little hut that he had outside at the back of his friend's house. And I say hut, but it was really nice little place. And it was in Antalya, Turkey, but in like the complete ghetto of it, I guess. But it was really cool. And my mum was there, so we couldn't have intimacies, obviously, and it'd be months. So I had to wait till she goes to bed and do things here and there. But I could tell when I was there, like, the relationship was waning, and there was nothing I could do about it, and the distance. I even bought a wedding dress, but my mum was not going to let me get married. I was 17 years old. If I'd been 18, I could have done it, and who knows where I would have been now, in a Muslim country, married to a Muslim man. I don't know. And maybe it's better than being in a heroin addict, isn't it? you know? Um, yeah. So go out with my friend Louise more and other people and have a good time in the drinking before you're legal. It's so much fun where you go places and they're just the most random nights of your life, and the fun of it all, going to goth night and hanging around with people, and oh, it was so much fun. I look back with so much glee on that time in my life. And there was this schizophrenic guy called Zach. Enter the third guy. Um, but yeah, oh god. So he would come to these goth nights occasionally. He'd be in and out of a mental hospital, sadly. He had a lot of problems. He was schizophrenic, obviously, and yeah, he had lots of really bad voices and would get sectioned quite a lot. He I saw him at a party months ago before that, And I wasn't really a house party sort of person. I was such a loner. Like, I'd have friends who'd go out and do stuff, but I would be at home and like, yeah, I had social anxiety from very young. But I'd socialise with like one person, and that's a BPD thing, apparently a favourite person. So I would know and hear about stuff. I wasn't a complete retard. Um, so yeah, we'd fun, dance, drink, chat, go around to Goth's house who lives in attics. It was fun. Good old days with no commitments. I was working, I'm sure I was working on and off around these years, and thought I was going to go somewhere. It was actually my friend Louisa I didn't think would, and it turned out to completely be the opposite way around, you know. So you can't always tell with people, even at a certain age, as a quote-unquote adult. Some really good times with not just her, other people from college. My 18th birthday was a spectacular one where my mum got me a limo and we went out and just had such fun. And this is an encounter with my narcissist boyfriend for the first time. Guys were going to come in the limo my friend spoke to, and he remembers it being around the same time. And when I had an argument with Zach once we'd moved to Ride, I bumped into him there and he offered me a spliff and a drink, and we'd always lived like really close together. Like, twin flames are not a good thing, but I feel like that was there. But after what's happened recently, I know I'm going off track and I'm going back and forth, but they all add up together in different places, and stories aren't always like that, and films often go back and forth, I know. So Sinan was shocked that I came to Turkey too, and his friends were. They didn't think I'd do it as a British film. Well, I did, and I proved them wrong, and I like that. But Zach, yeah, he wanted it. Everyone warned me against him, as people do. I hate people like that. Just like, I know they're trying to help, but they don't really care. They're not people who are really your friends either. And I thought, F it, I'm going to give it a go. So we hung around together. It was so romantic at the beginning of mine and Zach's relationship. It was really pure and innocent. And he was an Aquarius, and I'm a Leo. Both my parents are Aquarius. He had the same birthday as my dad. Very strange. And my cousin, who I was really close to too, February the 15th. And for months and months, he just held hands and kissed and sat and watched films, and he'd get bored easily because of his schizophrenia, and my autism was similar in a way. And I always worried when I was in this relationship that I didn't talk enough because of the weed smoking as well. So a heavy weed smoker. It made me really aware of who I was as a person, and I didn't like it. I remember feeling some of the worst feelings I felt ever when I was with Zach, and even my mum tries to not underestimate the time I spent with Zach really affected me. And I still get them feelings now with my partner I'm with now. If I'm not with someone who's chatting enough, it makes me feel like a boring, bad person. Don't ask me why, it's just one of my triggers and things. Two really significant female relationships I also had as well. And one was with a girl called Jasmine, who I met when I went to this weirdest private school you could ever imagine, like 4 people in a class. So that was Jasmine. She was in the year below me at school, but really should have been a couple years below me. She'd put ahead because she was intelligent. And she was always like, don't tell anyone, because she was a bit chavvy and don't know, it was just her with her Gemini ways. And then my other best friend was an Aries, Louise. And Jazz did really care, I think, more than Louise ever did. Me and Louise never had any big blowouts, and I think that's a sign of not like true friendship. But then on the other end of the stick, I think too much can be a bit too much and triggering, because when I was with Joy Jasmine was about and this is another story, her family went out for a meal when he was there after things had happened around New Year, I guess. And she said that he took her stepdad's key out of his coat. So I don't know if it's true. Jazz loved to dramatise everything. And yeah, so yeah, she liked it when I was single, I think, whereas Louise wasn't too bothered. And those were two really close relationships I don't have anymore. And female friendships and friendships rather than relationships are a lot more important to me in a way. And the absence of that is really sad, because us females need to bitch, we do. And that's why I don't like Libras, because they always want to solve. And but I need not drama, gossip. A girl needs a gossip. And if you want to be my friend, please. And then all through my 20s, having internalized homophobia, homophobic I was really badly. And I wouldn't like my boyfriend looking at women in music videos. I remember one time Zach, The Only Girl in the World by Rihanna, came on, and I was so jealous. I could just feel it seeping out of me. You know what it was? Because I secretly wanted to do stuff, and I realised later, only very recently, really in the last few years, well, about 5 years, that I am bisexual. Yes, family, I am bisexual. And recently I've even thought I'm full blown. Yeah. Only I think it's because of the way men have treated me, and I think it can happen. And sexuality is fluid, and it depends on the person. And I don't want to be one of those woke people, because I don't agree with it, and I don't agree with the gender fluidity thing either, because what scares me is that they might do age fluidity too, and that would just be, trust me, that's the world we're heading towards.